Welcome to a world where you can learn about real life in a setting that is alive and growing just like you are. From everyday people who may never have teaching certificates, but all have something valuable to offer. In a place where everyone is a student and everyone is a teacher. This is the One Room Schoolhouse.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Rebecca.
What is today?
Monday.
Monday. Happy Monday, my friends. Did you guys have a good weekend?
Yeah.
All righty. Guess what I did this weekend?
What?
I learned a new way to say good morning in a different language. Are you guys ready? How do we know how to say good morning already? Good morning in English, Spanish, and sign language. You ready for another way to learn? You ready? You ready? My friends at home, you guys ready to hear this? Buongiorno. Anyone know what that language that is?
France.
It's from France. What language do they speak there? Louis.
They speak Italian.
Italian. Okay, everyone repeat after me. Buongiorno. Very nice. And if anyone at home actually speaks Italian and knows the correct pronunciation, please let me know. All righty. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, friends at home. We're so glad you joined us again today. It is Monday. I have a very special guest teacher today that's going to come in and speak to us. And our guest teacher brought some friends along, so it's going to be a good morning. Before we get into our morning and our day, let's do our Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone up, please.
Stand up.
Stand up, and what do you...
And this is for your heart.
Yes, Indiana, you put your right hand over your heart. Thank you very much. Let's wait for all of our friends to be ready. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Have a seat. Who wants to say our morning prayer today? Start off the day. Louie, come on up, sis. Come on up over here. I like your bright shoes.
They're brand new.
Okay, say it loud. Eyes closed.
Thank you, dear God, for this day, and thank you for Miss Rebecca, Caleb 1 and Caleb 2, and Magnolia, Aiden, Indiana, Papa, Ezekiel, and dear God, thank you for this day. Amen.
Amen. Very nice. Have a seat. Very sweet prayer. I hope you guys at home are able to join us in our prayer. All righty, you guys. I'm going to help you guys with this table, okay? Thank you. Yes, Aiden.
Today is fall.
Not fall yet. What is?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow is our first day of fall. So what does that mean today is? What is today? The last day of what season?
Summer.
Summer. Very good. Very good. So tomorrow is fall. Listen up. Listen.
It's gonna get cold.
It is going to get cold. What else happens in fall?
It's leaf.
Thank you, Autumn, for raising your hand.
The leaf changes.
The leaf changes. What does the leaf change?
Color.
Colors. What else happens to the leaves? Magnolia.
They change into orange, red, and yellow. And they fall.
It's beautiful. What else happens, Mackenzie?
They fall.
They fall down. Sometimes you can do fun jumping things in all the leaves. Yeah. And it gets a little bit what? What happens to the weather, Aiden?
Weather gets kind of cold.
It gets a little bit chillier. Yeah. Now, friends at home, I don't know where you guys live. Is it going to be fall tomorrow? Let us know what season you're in, because it's different all over the world, right? So let us know what season you guys are going to be in. But tomorrow is our first day of fall. Now, it is Monday. We've had 2 days off school. Okay, I think we need a little exercises before our guest teacher comes. Okay, I want everyone where you're sitting, reach for the stars. Reach, reach, reach. Everyone at home join. Reach for the sky. Okay. Whew, very good. Put your arms down now. Let's fold them this way. One arm over. Oh, I like it. The other arm over here. Okay, now you guys ready? I want on 3 your silliest faces. 1, 2, 3. I like it. Get it all out. Shake those hands. Shake those hands. Very good. I like it. Now, let's take a deep breath in. One more. Very nice. Very nice. Who can tell me, what is a state park? Anyone at home know what a state park is? Indiana.
Park is a place to go.
It's a place to go. Exactly. And what do you do at these state parks, Autumn?
You play at them, and sometimes they're in different countries, and sometimes they're like in different states.
Yes, sometimes they're in different states. Okay. Now, is there a difference? Y'all raise your hand and tell me, is there a difference between just a playground park, just a good old park, or a state park? Is there a difference, Mackenzie?
The difference is a state park is sometimes has things that you can play with and go on a hike.
And go on hikes. Who likes hikes here?
Me?
I love hikes. What are some things you see on hikes?
Squirrels.
Squirrels. What else, Caleb?
Trees.
Trees. What else, Louie?
Sometimes you can find like metal and rocks with like stones and like
All kinds of like treasures and stuff you may find on there. What about you, Jalen?
waterfalls.
Sometimes there's waterfalls. So state parks are what we call protected. Who protects them? Who helps protect our state parks? Mackenzie, thank you for raising your hand.
And you can find chipmunks and arrowheads.
What? You find a lot of things on your hikes. So who helps protect these state parks? Who do we have? Josh, thank you for raising your hand. A park ranger. So am I a park ranger?
No.
Why not?
You're a teacher.
I'm a teacher. Park rangers sometimes are teachers. What would you normally see a park ranger in? A dress like this?
No.
What would you normally see them in, Caleb?
Like into a suit that has like horn and a circle and an animal head.
Okay, they may have a patch that has that. Okay, Isaiah, what about you? What do you think you would see a park ranger in?
In like explorer clothes.
In explorer clothes. I like your guys as park rangers. Yes, CJ. Yeah. And they would have hats, maybe. What about Autumn?
You might see a lot of animals.
Out when you're out in the state park? Okay, well, guess what? Hands down. Guess what, friends at home, and guess what, my friends here? I know a park ranger. I know a park ranger that, you guys ready to meet my park ranger friend?
Yeah.
So this park ranger, her name, listen up, her name is Ranger Julia. Can everyone say Ranger Julia?
Ranger Julia.
And she works, guess what we have just down the street? We have a state park. Anyone know what our state park down the street is called? Indiana, do you know?
The drove by the schoolhouse.
Yes, it's kind of close to the schoolhouse. You can drive from the schoolhouse. Good point. Magnolia.
Henry Horton State Park.
Henry Horton State Park. Friends, we have a state park just right down the street from us, and it is beautiful. Who has been there? Who has camped there? Did you know you guys could camp?
Oh, Miss Rebecca, did you know we live near it?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So we have a state park really close by, and I have a friend who is a park ranger there and who wanted to come and teach you guys a few things about being a park ranger, about working at a state park. And I think if you guys are really good here, she may even bring in some more friends. Okay, are you guys ready to meet the guest teacher today? Let's see, Park Ranger Julia, come on in. Can you guys say good morning?
Good morning. How are y'all?
My friends at
Can you
home,
tell me
this
something?
is Ranger Julia. Can you say
Hey
hi to our
everybody
friends
at home, thanks for joining us. Thanks for having me. Sure, what you got?
My mommy's name
No way. You don't hear that very often. That's cool. Well, my name's Ranger Julia, and I have a few other special guests back there waiting to see you guys. But first, did Miss Rebecca tell you that I'm from Henry Horton State Park? Yeah. Have you ever been there? You have?
And I live near there.
You do? So you like the park, don't you? It's nice having a park nearby. Have you been there? What'd you do there?
Well, we went to the rivers.
To the river? Okay, so you went swimming? So she said that they went to the river. So the river is one of our main attractions at our park. People love to come kayaking and canoeing and swimming. Y'all like to swim, don't you? Yeah, so y'all would love our park. But other than that, we have a golf course, we have a disc golf course, we have a swimming pool, but it didn't get to open this year because, of all the sickness. So maybe next year it'll be open again for y'all to come to. We have trails. Y'all like to hike in the woods?
Yeah.
So you would like the park because we have a lot of trails. So we even have a little splash pad. It's a new big playground and it's got some water features on it.
And I went there and the clams shoot water.
The clams. So those are actually mussels. And did you know those are in the river at Henry Horton State Park?
Oh.
Those mussels are in the river. So that's a cool playground, isn't it? Mussels are kind of like clams, but what they do is they clean the river for us at the park. You'll have to go down there and check it out, and we can tell you more about it and show you some examples. Yes, sir.
We can eat mussels.
You can. Yes, you can, but I wouldn't just go get one from the river. I'd go to the restaurant and get one.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, you don't want to just go eat any kind. They might not be very good. All right.
So Ranger Julie, how long have you been at a ranger, a park ranger?
So I've been a park ranger for 5 years at Henry Horton. Actually, this month makes my 5 years. So this is the first job I've ever had out of college, and I think I'm going to stay for a while. It's a pretty cool job. What we do is we take care of the park. We take care of the people in the park. We take care of the land and the nature in the park and the animals. So we have a pretty cool job. And we get to come and see you guys and talk about, well, I'll wait to tell you what we're talking about today. Yes, sir. Well, not today, but you'll have to ask Miss Rebecca about that, and we would love to have y'all. We would definitely love to see y'all out there.
That's a good idea. I think we'll take a field trip soon.
Yeah.
Remember, if you
Bring
want to
your
say
swimsuit.
something, raise your hand, okay? Because
Okay.
she wants to hear all the goodness you have to say, okay? Did you have a question for Ranger Julia?
You have a question?
I got a little snake, and that one's not scary because I love him.
She loves snakes. So I do hear you love snakes. So we have some snakes at the park that you would be able to hold if you came and saw us. We have a corn snake and a rat snake, and you'll be able to check them out if y'all came on a field trip. And maybe Miss Rebecca would hold them again. She's a little bit nervous around snakes. Yes, ma'am.
I like king snakes.
You like that? So that's very good. What are king snakes good for? So what they do is they keep the bad snakes away. They actually eat copperheads, and they also eat mice. So that's really good.
That is good. That is good.
It's really
so
good.
tell us a little bit about what your day-to-day is at the park. Like, what do you do?
So when I get to the park, the first thing I do is I go cruise around and make sure everything looks good in the park and see if anybody needs my help or any animals need my help. Sometimes, for instance, the other day, somebody called and said, hey, there's an injured fawn out here on the trail. So we have to go check things like that out. Sometimes people bring us injured birds, injured all kind of things. We've got anything from possums to, we've got everything
All
out
the
there.
things.
So people really look for us to take care of the park and the animals. And we just have to make sure that everything runs smoothly and everybody has a good time while they're out there. Yes, ma'am.
How did you become a park ranger?
Well,
Oh, good question.
so I was in college and I was going to get a biology degree. I didn't really know what I wanted to do until I went to the cafeteria one day and there was a sign hanging up on the wall and it said, seasonal internships with Tennessee State Parks. And I thought, that sounds fun. So I ended up going to interview, and for some reason they gave me a job at Montgomery Bell State Park, and that's where I did 2 summers interning, and then a job over here at Henry Horton State Park, which I had never heard of at the time, but now I'm glad that I came, opened up, and I interviewed for it and ended up getting it. So I've been here for 5 years, and I'll probably stay here. I really love this area, and I really love this park.
Because your ultimate goal is to protect nature, correct? Protect the park. Like, I can't just go in there and change things up, right?
Right. You can't just go in there and say, you have turkeys out here. So you can't just bring a turkey and drop it off at the park. You can't do that. And you can't take one of my turkeys. So we have to leave it the way it was, make sure the people don't harm it and make sure the people don't harm themselves. So we really have to look out for the park.
Good. And then if you have ways at the park, if people want to help help you protect,
Right.
like you guys have ways to do that, correct?
Right.
If anyone at home wants to help.
Right. If anybody at home wants to help, we have volunteer days every month. You're welcome to come out. You're welcome to just show up and say, hey, I want to volunteer. I want to lend a hand to help keep the park beautiful because we love it. Or, hey, I want to see what park rangers do. Can you tell me what y'all do? Can you show me a few things? We'll be glad to do that. We'd definitely be glad to do that.
Well, did you bring anybody else with you by any chance?
So I brought another somebody with me. Her name's Sam, but the real special guest is an animal, a live animal. So if y'all will just don't scream, just kind of hang back, relax.
Quiet voices, hands in
I've
your
got
lap.
a big surprise for y'all.
Okay,
and
feet
we're
in
going to
front
talk
of you,
about it, okay?
We got to be very calm
Ready?
for our live animal. 1 second. 1 second.
So everybody, this is Sam, and this is Cotton, our barred owl. Everybody say barred owl. Barred owl. So barred owl is B-A-R-R-E-D, not to be confused with the barn owl, okay? Barred owls have kind of a barred pattern on them. See that? Did you hear her whining? So a lot of times she does that little almost cry. She's just fussing at me right now.
She's like, where did you bring
She's probably wondering where her food's at and if y'all have any food.
She's kind of like kids when they get hungry.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
hilarious.
she is.
Now, you guys will all be able to see the owl. No worries, okay?
So Sam's going to walk around, so don't reach your hands out. Don't try to touch the owl or anything like that because she's got a really sharp beak. She might bite you, okay? So just stay where you're at. Sam's going to bring her close by so you can get an up close look. So like I said, Cotton lives at our park. Have you ever been to the campground in our park? Okay, so if you go to the park and you follow the signs to the campground, right next to the camp store is where Cotton lives, and you can go see him anytime. She has a buddy over there named, his actual name is Buddy. He's a hawk. So you can go see Cotton and Buddy anytime during the day. They're over there. That's where their aviaries are. That's where they live. They like to socialize with people, so they would love to see you. Cotton's been with us for almost 5 years at the park. She was imprinted, which means that she's been raised by humans. When she was a baby, they were cutting trees down in an area called Cotton Grove. That's why her name's Cotton. And what happened was her and her brother fell out of the nest when they were cutting the trees down. They didn't know the nest was up there. So when that happened, they were too little to make it on their own. So a nice lady at David Crockett State Park took care of them until they were bigger. And at that point, transferred over to us. And ever since then, she's been one of our park ambassador animals for education. Tennessee state parks, we don't keep birds unless we have to. So if somebody brings us in a bird and let's say it just got a concussion, maybe it flew into a window or something, what we'll do is we'll let it kind of hang out for a few days and recover, and then we'll release it. So if a bird can be released, we like to release them. If not, we need to keep them so they'll be able to survive and at least get to see you guys and you know, educate other kids and do field trips and stuff like that. So Cotton, like I said, is imprinted. That's why we have her at the park. And the other, her buddy named Buddy, the hawk, he's got an injured wing. That's why we have him at the park. So, did everybody get up close to look at Cotton? Would y'all like to learn more?
Yes.
Okay, yes ma'am.
Owls could always turn their necks like back there.
You are right.
All the way.
Almost all the way around. So we're going to cover that in just a minute. You're right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out here with Cotton's feathers, and then we're going to go head to toe and just talk about everything that we can think of.
And before, while she's explaining that, friends at home, if you guys have any questions or comments, please have your parents help you comment on the comment section and ask questions, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Ask questions. We'll try to answer them. If we can't, we'll keep trying. So like I said, we're going to start on the outside with Cotton's feathers and plumage. So what do you think several uses for her feathers would be? What's one big thing her feathers do? To keep her warm. Good, very good. What else?
To help her fly.
She's got to have feathers to fly, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, so help her fly. What else? I saw you raise your hand. You did? Did you? Okay, what is it?
How did the owl was too little when the tree fell down?
You said, how was the owl so little when the tree fell down? So she was so little, she was still in the nest. She wasn't quite ready to fly out on her own and take care of herself yet, because they stay with their parents in the nest area for about 4 to 5 months before they're able to fly out and survive on their own. So she wasn't quite there yet. That's why a nice lady took care of her and raised her up. Does that answer your question? Okay, so let's get back to the feathers. So the feathers keep her warm, help her fly. What about keep her camouflage in the woods? Yeah, so it's built-in camouflage? Yeah, all right. What about these feathers back here that she's moving up and down, you know, when Sam's moving her around? Is that helping her balance some? Yeah? What?
People could barely see her wings since they're just like polarized and scary.
Right, so she's pretty camouflaged. One reason they're really camouflaged is these owls are one of the only types of owls that you may see out in the daytime sometimes, so they really need to be hidden. So that's why you hardly ever see them, is because they're so camouflaged. If you do see them, they may be next to a road looking for a frog crossing the road or something like that. And sometimes that's why they get hit, is because maybe they're going after prey like a frog. They'll eat anything from earthworms, frogs, crawfish, other birds, smaller owls like screech owls. And what we feed them, a diet of at the park, is mice and chicks. We alternate between mice and chicks so they get a good nutrient balanced diet. Are feathers coming off?
Yep.
Okay. So we talked about the feathers. So what do you think we need to go to next if we're going from head to toe? We need to go eyes, ears, and nose. Let's go eyes first. So look at her eyes, okay? Watch her when she moves. Do you notice that her eyes are moving at all? Okay. Everybody, I need you to do something for me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I need you to look straight with your eyes and then move them from side to side, just like this. Can you do that? So everybody in here can do that. But here's one cool thing. Cotton can't do that. Her eyes are stuck, just like this right here. So imagine put your hands over your eyes like this. Imagine not being able to move your eyes. Okay? You can turn your head. So this brings me back to the point that, well, what was your name back here?
Louis.
Okay, Louis. So you said that owls turn their head almost all the way around, right? So that's why they have to do that, because their eyes are stuck just like this. So that owls can turn their head 270 degrees. So that's almost all the way around. And if you watch them close, you'll see her turn it pretty good. So they can do that because they have twice as many neck bones back here as you do.
Yeah, but can owls like blink?
So they can blink. So owls can blink. They actually have 3 different eyelids. I'm glad you pointed that out. The first eyelid comes down for blinking. The bottom eyelid comes up for sleeping. And then there's a clear eyelid. And it's called the nictitating membrane. Can you say that? Nictitating membrane. So that clear eyelid, it comes over her eye and it protects her when she's flying down to catch her prey. It's kind of like built-in goggles that come out when she's hunting. Wouldn't that be nice to have?
Yeah, but we blink like there's only parts that come down like that
On the owl? Do what now?
for us.
For us.
So for humans, only have one eyelid.
Yes, so humans are different, and owls have 3 eyelids, so that's a good point. They're different. So let's go over it again. The top one is for blinking, the bottom one is for sleeping, and the clear one is for so she can hunt and nothing will damage her eyes when she's diving down to catch her prey, right? All right.
That's amazing.
Isn't that cool? So I have another question for y'all. Can y'all smell really good? You smell really good? Okay, so Cotton can't smell very good at all. That's why her eyes are so important and her ears are so important to help her hunt. So owls, a lot of them don't smell really good at all. Some owls even eat skunks, and that kind of explains it if they can't smell really good. They don't know. Yeah, it's kind of gross. That's gross. Ugh. Okay, so we talked about their eyes. Do you have any questions about their eyes before I move on to the ears? Yes, ma'am.
I love Homestead because frogs and
loves, yes, she loves dogs. You love owls too, right?
I love dogs too, and owls. Yeah. So let's go to her ears. So everybody, look at ears for me. Hold on to your ears for me. Are your ears fairly even? Sam's are pretty even, mine are pretty even. So a lot of times owls' ears are kind of a little bit crooked and wonky. But that's good because that helps them better figure out where their prey's at, and it helps them really hear very well. Yes, ma'am. You're thirsty?
1 second, okay?
She'll get you something in just a second.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do here is, if Cotton will allow me, I'm going to try to show you the ears. So if you look at the feathers around her face, you see how it's kind of got facial disc feathers around the face? You see that? Their ears are going to be right along in here. So I'm going to try to pull those feathers back so you can see the ears. Okay? Sometimes they'll cooperate, sometimes she won't. Cotton. Do y'all see that?
No.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Stay in your seats.
You're back.
White spot in their ears.
You see it now?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever seen an owl's ear before?
I've never seen an owl's ear.
So now you
Have
have.
guys?
So on both sides, and like I said, sometimes they're a little crooked, or most of the time they're a little crooked. But their ears are right behind those facial feathers right there. So what did I say they use their ears for?
Hearing.
Hearing and hunting, because they can't smell really good, right? Right. So they need those ears and they need those eyes to help them hunt. So we've talked about their feathers, we've talked about their ears, we've talked about their eyes. What's this thing in the middle of her face?
Beak.
A beak. Do you have a beak?
No.
No, you have a nose. So if I said she can't smell very good, what do you think she does with her beak besides bite me? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Do they have tongues?
So she's got a tongue, but what she does with this beak is this is her dinner fork. It's her dinner fork and knife all in one. So
I know what she used. She used it to text. She puts her head like that. It attaches it. She puts the thing to her beak.
right. So you can say that one more time for me.
She like bends down her. She like bends down her neck.
So she bends down her head and uses the beak to eat with. That's what she was saying.
Does she hook it up?
Yes. So see this little hook right here that helps her latch onto it and pull her prey apart. So let's say she was eating a chicken. Let's say she's eating a chicken about this big. A chicken. And not chicken nuggets, actual chicken. Let's say she was bending down to eat that chicken and she used that beak and she got the chicken and she just ripped a chunk of it off. And then what's she going to do? She's going to eat it. Is she going to chew it or swallow it whole? She's going to swallow it whole because guess what? Smile for me. She don't have any teeth like you do. Yeah, if she had teeth, she'd look like a dinosaur and be kind of scary, I think. But they don't have teeth because, for one, your teeth are kind of heavy, and that wouldn't be good for her because she has to fly. So that would weigh her down quite a bit, wouldn't it? Yeah. So her beak is what? Her hook, her dinner fork, and knife all in one. So she takes her prey, and either if it's small like a little mouse, she'll grab it and swallow it whole. Or if it's a bigger chicken, she'll tear it into shreds and then swallow those shreds. Ma'am?
Last time, I got dogs more. As big as dogs.
You like dogs, don't you?
She does.
Yeah.
We'll share about animals we like
Yeah.
in a minute, okay?
My favorite colors something owls, like they got eyes like those, because they got this in their body.
Yep, you're very smart.
Very
you like
good.
dogs and owls.
Very
Good job.
Kayla, did you have a question, bud?
What you got?
Have you seen some bald eagles?
Some bald eagles. We haven't had many people call us about bald eagles around here. Even though they are around here, we haven't had many calls about them. But other parks like Reelfoot Lake State Park and Radnor Lake State Park, they do have eagles at their parks. So they have a high population of eagles in those areas, especially Reelfoot, and they do get some injured eagles in and they end up having to keep some of them. Eagles are really big, aren't they? Eagles are really big and really cool. They're kind of intimidating. They're pretty heavy, pretty big. Speaking of pretty big, Cotton is a medium-sized owl. How much do you think cotton weighs? Give me a guess.
43.
43 pounds? Whew, do you weigh 43 pounds? Okay. How much do you think she weighs?
Really strong.
44.
44 pounds.
I'm 44.
So, okay, let's back up and think for a minute. So Sam's been holding this out the whole time. Do you think 44 pounds would get kind of heavy on her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
What?
I know.
21 pounds. Okay, I'm going to surprise you all. I'm going to surprise you all. So she weighs right around 2 pounds. So not very heavy at all. You know how much like a soccer ball feels? You know how heavy a soccer ball is? Not very heavy at all. Well, that's about how much she weighs. So it's pretty lightweight. Because Sam, I mean, is she heavy to you?
Right now she is.
Right now she's getting heavy because she's been holding her out
Been
for a
holding
while.
her up for a while.
But if it was 40 pounds, I wouldn't ask her to do that. Mm-mm.
So
why-
we have a couple questions, if I can interrupt for
Okay,
just a minute. We have
all
some
right.
questions coming in from our friends at home. Tori wants to know what cotton specifically eats. So I know you talked a little bit about
Okay.
owls eat, but if cotton has some special diets.
So Tori wants to know what cotton eats. What we do at our park is we feed cotton a variety. We feed her mice and chicks. We order these from a company, Frozen, and what we do is we thaw them out and we feed them to her. Because they have to get a good variety of food. They have to get fur and bones all in their diet and good nutrition. So what happens after she eats, 8 to 12 hours later, she throws up the fur and the bones that she can't digest into an owl pellet. And actually here are a couple of her pellets right here. So this is what happens 8 to 12 hours after they eat. So in these pellets are parts of mice and chicks that we have fed cotton. Well, every once in a while, they'll have a squirrel that was roadkill at the park. It's fresh, but most of the time it's chicks
Would
and
you
mice.
be okay if I walked around
So
and hold
these are for
those?
you guys to have. Nobody's afraid of owl puke, right?
I'm not.
Okay, so if you look closely, you will see mouse bones or chicken bones in these pellets because owls can't digest those things, the fur and the bones, so they throw it back up.
So yeah, that's wonderful. I'll walk around and show you
What?
guys, and then we'll be able to look at them. in a
So
minute.
those are Miss Rebecca's for y'all to have here in the class. So we've dissected those, and you can also order a bunch of those from different companies, and you can dissect them. You will find several bones and pieces and teeth from the animals and all kinds of stuff in them. Yeah, you got a question?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of chicks do they eat?
What kind of chicks? So they're about a week-old chicks. They're about this big, just little yellow chicks.
Okay, we have more.
No,
to
they're
learn.
actual chickens. So they're little baby chickens.
That's the trick to find out. Where do you find those?
So she's asking where we find the chickens and the mice that we feed cotton. There's a company that we order them from, and they ship them in to us. And what we do is we thaw them out the day of, and then we feed them to them. So we don't have to kill anything.
So our chicks are safe, is what
So
we're
your
saying.
chickens are safe. Don't worry, we won't do that. Yes, ma'am.
I love cowboy, cowboy. But I'm going to miss Becca's cows at lunch.
We will do that later.
No.
My friends really love all kinds of animals around here. Can you tell us a little bit more about cotton?
Yes.
1 second.
Okay, guys, so we have talked about cotton's feathers. We've talked about her eyes. We've talked about her beak, her ears. You even got to see owl ears. So let's go a little bit further down to these things right here. Now, I'm going to give you a couple. Their feet, what do you think they are? Their claws, what do you think they are? Sharp claws. So everybody thinks they're sharp claws. But here's the thing. Cotton is not a little wimpy bird. She doesn't have claws. She has talons. Everybody say talons for me. Talons. Talons. So you know, you're about to say talons? You knew that, right? Excuse me. So, you know, like dinosaur talons? So her talons are made out of the same material that dinosaur talons were made out of. It's called keratin. It's also the same material that your fingernails are made out of. And your hair, did you know that? All right, you're good. So one more time, what are these big things on her feet? That wasn't very good. Let me hear it again. That was great. That was great. What does she do with those talons, guys?
She grabs stuff.
Grab stuff. Okay. So let's act this out here. So I'm Cotton, and I'm just sitting on a fence post. And what walks through the field?
Mice.
A mouse. So I see the mouse. Now what do I do? What? So I start flying. Okay, where's the mouse at? So I start flying down to the mouse, and I get right close to the mouse, and then she takes those talons and she grabs it. And most of the time when she grabs it, it severs the spinal cord and it just instantly kills it. Just like that. She's so powerful because her talons are so powerful. And then what do I do with the mouse once I've got it? I'm going to take it back to where I was sitting. I'm going to sit down, and then I'm going to eat it. And how's she going to eat it? Remember? With her beak. So she's going to take her beak down and tear it into shreds or swallow it whole. Unless it's a little mouse, and she's going to just swallow the whole thing. And you'll see the tail sticking out for a second, and then she'll swallow that too.
Very intense. Have you ever seen where like two owls maybe see the same prey?
I haven't seen that, but
Okay.
I could see that happening for sure.
And just the winner just
I would
takes it
say
home?
the winner takes it home, you know, fight to the best one.
They don't
is
share
gonna
is
get
what-
it.
they
They
probably
don't
don't
share
share.
well, no, they don't. But another thing you guys need to know is that owls, so they can hear well, they can see well, but they are not fast. So if they're not fast, they need to be sneaky, right? Are you sneaky? Yeah, come here.
Go up, Caleb.
She called Caleb.
Okay, so owls got to be sneaky, which means they have to be really quiet when they fly. So their feathers are kind of ruffled on the ends, kind of rough like this rope. So what I need you to do is I need you to swing this rope around in a circle and try to make a noise with it. Can you do that for me? But don't hit anybody. Here, hold it right here. Now sling it around and try to make noise with it. Here, just like this. Let me hit you.
Like a lasso.
Like a lasso. Can you hear anything?
No.
Barely. Barely. So an owl's super quiet. They have to be super quiet to catch something, don't they? Now, let me ask you something. What about a hawk? Let's say Cotton's buddy named Buddy, a hawk. They're fast. Do you think they're loud?
I want to try that.
You want to
We
try
will,
it?
we will in a little bit, okay? We will in a
So
little bit.
do hawks have to be quiet if they're really fast? No, because they're going to catch you if they want you anyways. But owls have to be really sneaky and quiet because they're kind of slow. Yeah, they're kind of slow. What else we got here is we got a couple feathers that we brought from Cotton's cage that we want to pass around to y'all if y'all would like to look at them. So one little interesting thing y'all need to know is if you do find wild owl feathers or any kind of bird of prey, such as an eagle or a hawk, you're not allowed to keep them. You can look at them, you can take them to the park and we can keep them, but you're not allowed to keep them unless you're a Native American. The only people allowed to keep birds of prey feathers are Native Americans, park rangers, TWRA wildlife officers, and things like that.
My mom's a Native American.
Well, then she can keep them.
Me too.
Really? Well, then y'all can keep them. That's cool. Yes.
My whole entire family's American, and except my mom is Australian and American.
Wow, that's cool. Yes, ma'am.
Why are only like Native Americans allowed to keep them?
So she asked why only Native Americans and park rangers and TWRA wildlife officers are allowed to keep the feathers. That's because these birds are protected under a national law, which means you can't shoot them, you can't harm them, you can't keep any piece of them because it's illegal. So they're really majestic and you really got to take care of them, look out for them because people sometimes don't do that, but that's why that law's there. But I know you guys will do the right thing if you see one, right? Yeah, so if you ever see an injured owl, what do you need to do?
Take them to you guys.
Probably call an adult, and if it can't move or anything like that, bring it to us or bring it to a rehabber. But you can always call the park and we can help you figure that out, okay? But if it were you guys, I wouldn't touch it, okay? Because what did we say was on this owl right here down at her feet? Talons, and what will they do? They'll cut you. That's why Sam has this big thick glove on. They'll cut you, so you gotta be real careful. Do you have any more questions about cotton for me?
We have some coming in from home, so
You
if
have
you
some
want to
from home?
answer some
Okay.
here. But first from home, our friend Gail wants to know if cotton lays eggs.
So Cotton hasn't laid any eggs. We keep Cotton by herself. We don't want any kind of birds in captivity to breed, so that's why she hasn't laid any eggs, so we don't want that. But I did bring some eggs that are about the same size as owl eggs. They're not owl eggs, let me clarify that. They're turkey eggs. But owl eggs are probably going to be close to this size, so not much bigger than a chicken egg. And they're just plain colors. And owls will lay anywhere from 1 to 5 eggs in a nest. Usually 2 or 3 is about the average number. And after 28 to 33 days, they will hatch. And then after a few weeks, the owls will start growing bigger. And then, like I said, they will hang around the nest, and the mother and father will help take care of them while they're learning how to fly and figure things out for another 4 to 5 months. And then they'll be on their way. Yes, ma'am.
Was that like a real turkey?
That was a real turkey egg. So that's why I can't pass it around, because I don't want to break it.
Yeah,
That was a real turkey egg.
that's pretty cool. So
Do
you
your
said
turkeys lay eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
these turkeys are going to be Thanksgiving dinner
Oh, all right. Very
that
cool.
we have here. But we do have some chickens that lay eggs,
All right.
along with our meat birds that will be chicken nuggets one day.
Oh, all right.
We have them all. So you said it takes about 4 to 5 months for babies to kind of grow and be able to be self-supported.
Right.
Kind of thing.
So after about a month or so, they do start kind of peeking out of the nest and thinking about it. But 4 to 5 months, they stick around, and the mother and father help take care of them and feed them, and they kind of figure out the process, and then they take off on their own.
So the mom and dad then bring the food to them.
So the mom and dad, what'll happen is when the mom is sitting on the eggs, you know how a chicken sits on her eggs until they're ready to hatch? So a mama owl will do that, and then the daddy owl will bring food. So he'll bring like maybe crawfish, rabbits, and chickens, and other birds. And a good rule of thumb to remember what owls can eat is if they can fly away with it, they'll eat it. So if it's small enough for them to fly away with it, they can eat it.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, our friend Ariel, hi Ariel, wants to know the difference between cotton and a screech owl.
Okay, so cotton is a barred owl. They're a different type of species. A screech owl they're only about that big, full size. So there's a big difference between cotton and a screech owl. Cotton could actually eat a screech owl. Screech owls, you don't see them very often because they're so little in their camouflage. They come in 2 different colors. They're in an auburn color and a gray color, almost similar to their shirts. But they blend in very well with the trees. And they also have little ear tufts, kind of like a great horned owl, but they're just about that big. So screech owls don't get very big at all, as opposed to cotton is a barred owl, and that's about a medium-sized owl.
I was going to say, is Cotton doing okay? Do we want to?
Oh, yeah, she's
okay.
good. She's
Okay, good, because we like watching her while you talk about.
Cotton
Okay,
loves people, so
we
she's
have more
good.
questions. Isaiah, hi Isaiah, wants to know how we can help protect owls.
So protecting owls, like I said, be cautious when you're driving because all owls' greatest predator are usually humans, and a lot of times they get hit by cars or hung in our fences and things like that. So just be aware of your surroundings if you can, and if you do see an injured owl and you have an adult with you and you think that it needs help, don't be afraid to call us or a rehabber or a TWRA wildlife officer, and we'll try to help that owl out. You can also volunteer at places like Walden's Puddle that does rehabbing and learn about owls and help out that way. That's a good way to help out with the owls.
Let's see, Amanda wants to know if the owl hoots.
Okay, so can anybody in here hoot like an owl? Okay, so Cotton is a barred owl, and barred owls are known for their famous call.
I know what they say.
What do they say? Tell everybody. So they say, who cooks for you and who cooks for you all, right? So I'm going to try to do it, and then we're going to see if Cotton will talk back to me. You ready? So. Do you hear? You hear?
Are you talking to it?
Yeah, I'm talking to it. She gets sidetracked. She
She hears
gets
the
sidetracked
noises.
easy. But she does hoot, and she lives in the campground, like I said. So in the campground, it's kind of a wild area over there. There's a lot of trees and a lot more owls. So sometimes at night she gets to talk to the other owls. So that's really cool. So if you hear an owl out in the woods by your house, it says what? Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you all? That's probably a barred owl. Y'all go ahead and try it. There you go.
Be careful. Sounds like they're saying.
Yeah. So y'all keep practicing that and y'all get it.
I love it. Let's see. Cheyenne would like to know how old Cotton is and how long she will live.
Okay. So we've had her for almost 5 years, and they've seen barred owls live to be in their mid to late 20s. So hopefully she'll live that long. So maybe she'll be here my whole career. That would be cool.
So she'll be a regular guest for
So
us.
mid to late
hopefully.
20s, I think they've done studies, and that's probably the oldest barred owl that they've seen. On another note, they've found eagles that have been over 50 years old. So that's pretty cool. I know you're an eagle fan. Yeah.
Any more questions from in here? Yes, Autumn.
How, when does the owl starts to get mad?
When does it get mad? Well, so it lives over in the campground, and the only times that it really gets mad is if somebody brings their dog over to it, and then when it gets mad, it'll start clacking its beak, kind of almost threatening them, and it'll bring out its wings. So that's when it gets mad, is when it feels threatened.
Like to make itself big so the dog doesn't.
So it makes itself look big to scare the dog. Good. Yes, ma'am.
Can you make the owl fly to show us?
So we won't do that today, but
Maybe one time.
maybe one day
next
we'll
time.
try to do that.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with Cotton
Yeah.
and be sensitive to her needs.
And
for
sometimes
sure.
she doesn't want to fly. She just wants to do her own thing.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
yeah.
you know.
Does Cotton get like special treats? Like, will she get a treat for being so good today?
She might get an extra mouse.
She might get extra.
She might get an extra mouse. But we don't feed them any kind of treats. They just get mice and chicks, like I was saying. They don't get Cheez-Its or chicken nuggets or nothing like that. That wouldn't be good for them, would it? Because they're birds of prey and they eat nothing but meat, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I
Okay.
saw her tongue.
You did?
They laid on that.
She's trying to escape is what she's doing. She's trying to untie that rope and escape from Sam.
So Sam, what does it feel like holding an owl? I mean, you've been there for a while. Like, what does it feel like?
2 pounds doesn't seem like a lot, but when you've been holding it for about 30 minutes, it gets a little bit heavy. If you raise your hand and keep it there for as long as you can, you'll feel it start slowly going down. If you notice, sometimes I'll do this, and that kind of gives it a little bit of a break, and then I put her back up, and then it'll slowly go down, give it a little break, and then go back up.
So what made you want to be a ranger?
Well, I love animals. I love being outdoors. And so right now I'm kind of testing it since I'm a seasonal. So I'm seeing if I would like to continue to do it. And so far I've loved everything I've been able to be a part of. So
I love it. So if Sam decides she wants to do this, what training will she go to next?
So once you get hired on full-time as a park ranger at a park, what you do is you interview at different parks, and let's say Henry Horton State Park chooses you, then you will go to the police academy. Everybody ever heard of the police academy?
Ooh.
So you have? So what do they do there?
They start your training.
They start your training. So they train you just like they do all the other police officers across the state. So that's why I have a belt right here that has all this equipment on it, because I'm also a police officer. So I'm a park ranger / police officer. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So we don't like to really do that part of our job as much, even though we need to. We don't really enjoy arresting people and stuff like that, but we can. So we take care of all the law enforcement within our parks. That's why they sent us to the police academy, and it's 12 weeks long, and you learn a whole bunch of stuff, and it really prepares us for our jobs. Yes, ma'am.
But when like people like sneak into there, like you just do like police officer stuff.
So we guard the park. When, like, for instance, when we were shut down this spring because everything was shut down because of the virus. When people were sneaking in, we had to find them, and sometimes they got tickets for sneaking in. So you know how you get a ticket when you're speeding? You can get a ticket for doing things bad at the park. So, whoa, you about fell out there. You're good. Y'all have any more questions, or does anybody else from home have any questions?
How long can the owl stay up?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure how long she can stay up, but I will tell you this. She likes to stay up most of the time at night, but since she lives at the park, she's kind of messed up her schedule, so she's up at all kind of times. Most of the time, owls are nocturnal, though, except for sometimes they will come out during the day, this particular species only. But most of the time, they're taking naps during the day, so it's opposite of you. I don't know for sure how long she can stay up, though.
So she's getting tired right now because she's
getting antsy.
Yeah. Jalen, do you have a question before we say bye to Cotton? And then Miss Ranger Julia can stay for a few minutes, but we can say bye to Cotton if she needs a little bit of a break.
How high can an owl fly in the air?
I'm not for sure. I don't really know an answer. Do you have an idea?
Well, they really don't need to fly too high. They like staying in the forest, so they don't really have to fly for very long. Because remember how she said that they have the silent flight? So since they're so quiet, they really don't have to fly for very far or very high, because they're wanting to get something that's down low.
But I'm not sure how high anyone's ever went. I'll have to look that up.
So do we want to say bye to Cotton and Sam, and then Ranger Julia, you can stay for a few minutes and keep answering questions and talking?
So thank you, Cotton.
Thank you, Sam. I know your arm is so tired.
Oh, no. Thank you, guys.
Can you guys say bye to Cotton?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, friends, we had some more questions in here. Yes, Autumn.
How long does the owl sleep?
Does it sleep? Well, that's kind of a trick question, like you just asked me, how long do they stay awake?
They're trying to
I'm
get
not
you.
real sure. You are trying to catch me off guard here. I'm not real sure how long they can sleep or stay awake. Yes, ma'am.
I have a pet hamster named Mr. Nibbles, and he's nocturnal.
He is nocturnal. Well, that's cool.
So they don't.
That's cool. I heard somebody ask a minute ago if they could pet the owl. Who asked that? Let me ask y'all, do y'all think that's a good idea, petting an owl? No. Why?
Because it's soft. I'm gonna
Because
call him Fluffy.
she can bite you, or what are these?
Dallas.
Or they could cut you. We don't want to do that, do we? No, we got to be careful around the owl.
I'm gonna call him Fluffy.
Fluffy. Yeah, they do have a lot of feathers. They are fluffy.
So you said she has another owl. If you want to have a seat, you can have. Let me bring a chair over for you. Okay. We have a few more. We're just almost out of time for our friends at home. But you talked about Cotton had a friend.
Okay. Cotton has a friend named Buddy, and Buddy is a red-tailed hawk, and we've only had him a few months at the park. He actually came from a different park called Pickwick Landing State Park, and they had to kind of give him to us because he was trying to breed with the females. And like I said, you can't breed birds that are in captivity, or at least you don't want to, because they're either injured or imprinted in some way, and you just don't want to breed them. So Buddy has been with us for just a few months. Like I said, he's a red-tailed hawk, which means he's pretty cool. He's pretty fast, because I said the hawks were faster than the owls, right? And he lives right next to Cotton in the campground, so you can come see him anytime you want. During the daytime, not at night.
Can anyone come visit the park?
Anybody?
Yes.
Anybody can come visit the park. So once you convince Miss Rebecca to take you, y'all can come.
Or your parents.
Or your parents. You can come visit the park anytime during the day. And it's free.
We're planning to have a play date there. Hey, Miss Rebecca.
All right, good.
Okay.
Miss Rebecca,
Oh.
can I tell you something?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we going to go on a field trip today?
Not today. We'd have to plan ahead of time to make sure that they're ready for us.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
I'm sure big groups you would want a notice.
We would need like a couple weeks notice, but we will definitely be happy to have y'all whenever y'all can get out there.
And do you and Sam work alone, or are there more of you?
So at the park, we have 4 park rangers and 1 park manager who's also a park ranger. And what we do is we take turns just patrolling the park and making sure everything is safe and taking care of the operations around there and taking care of the people and the animals, like I said. So this is a good, fun part of our job that we get to do is educational outreach with our animals. At the very beginning of the talk, we talked about the different animals that we had at our park, and some of you guys mentioned the snakes. And we have 2 different kinds of snakes. We have a corn snake and a black rat snake. We also have turtles.
I love turtles.
You like turtles?
I used to have a pet once.
You did?
But
You had to release it? Or you-
No, we lost him.
Oh,
Actually,
no.
it was a girl, but all my whole family taught us was.
Oh, no.
So let's for the next just minute or so talk to Ranger Julia. What would we like at home if you have any ideas? What could she bring next time? Raise your hand if you, what are some things we want to learn about that maybe she can bring next time?
Snake.
The snake?
Man.
Miss Rebecca is not a fan of the snake, but I can
yes,
do
bring
that.
the snake.
Yes.
Snake.
The snake. So we got 2 votes for the snake.
They're
so
doing that
far.
just because they know I don't like snakes.
Snake. Yeah. So I think hands down we're gonna have to bring a snake.
I think I want a fawn.
A fawn. Well, we don't see. We can't bring a fawn out here because we don't have any fawns. We have to leave them out in the wild, right? So all we have at the park. Yeah, we can't bring a fawn up here. But if you ever do want to see the turtles and the snakes, they are inside the camp store, so you can go see them too. They're inside the camp store on display. Sure.
I want to see the bunnies and the snakes.
So we don't have any bunnies. We have wild bunnies you can see sometimes out in the fields.
When you're like
We
hiking
have
and
when
stuff.
when you're hiking or camping or cruising around at night, you can see the deer, the fawns, and the rabbits. I can't bring a deer.
We actually have
Y'all
some
think
deer.
I can just go catch a deer?
Well, you're that awesome, Ranger Julia. We have some deer that every once in a while will come and we can see through the window. So, well, we're gonna say goodbye to Ranger Julia, and then we're gonna talk about some things here and with our friends at home that we learned about. So, can you guys say thank you to Ranger Julia for being here?
Thank y'all for having me.
Any last minute thoughts, or if someone really wants to be a park ranger, just any thoughts that you want to share with our friends?
If you really want to be a park ranger, you need to come down to the park and talk to us. And one day when you get a little bit older, you can job shadow and spend the day with us and really learn what it's all about. And you can come to our junior ranger camps in the summer. That would be really cool. Or attend any of our programs. We offer programs every weekend. It'd be really fun.
So on that note, if our friends at home want to do that, how would they find that information?
So you can go to our website. And there's a little bit of information there, but the best thing to do would be to give us a call and ask to speak to a ranger, and we can answer any questions you may have or try our best to answer them. The best thing to do would be to call us. If we're not in there in the office, maybe we're out catching a fawn or something, we will get back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Ranger Julia.
These are challenging times for children and for parents everywhere. Remember that school doesn't just have to be in a building with teachers and desks. School can and should happen everywhere. This program is made possible thanks to the generous support from the Dottie Frist Foundation, the Happy Davis Foundation, Hart Utilities, and viewers like you.